Okay, start now.
Hi everyone, it's Harish over here. I'm gonna take a webinar on introduction to cybersecurity. As you can see over here, you might have noticed when you would have seen this poster. This whole thing is kind of different, and you might be thinking what it is actually like. The I is replaced by one and T is replaced by seven. This is actually called as leet language. LEET language. These language is kind of used by hackers and we'll cover up in the later part of the session. So first, let us get started with CTF. Yeah. So CTF. So is there any gamers over here? You can raise your hands over here in chat, so I'll be able to know who the gamers are. Anyway, if there are any gamers over here, you might be thinking a CTF as something like this, like two people just kind of fight to capture the flag. But in reality, it's not like that. I'm sorry for disappointing you. It will be something like this: a bunch of people they just sit down and work on challenges whichever is given to them. So yeah, what is a CTF? CTF is kind of a competition with a lot of challenges in it, and the goal is to find the flag which is hidden, and you'll have to use the knowledge whichever you have in order to get the flag. And yeah, so these are kind of ways through which recruiters can find you and you can get a job based on CTF events. And there are two types of CTF events, and they are Jeopardy and Attack Defense. We'll be covering upon Jeopardy today because Attack and Defense it can't be done now. So this is how it just looks like. So in Jeopardy style of CTF, you'll be given a lot of sorry, yeah, in Jeopardy style of CTF, you'll be given a lot of challenges, and based on the challenges, you'll be allotted some kind of points, and based on the points, your score will increase. And all these challenges are kind of categorized into five types. I'll be explaining that in next 2 3 slides. And in attack and defense, there'll be two kinds of teams. A team which attacks and the other team defense. Sorry, there'll be two types of teams. They both do the attack and defense part. The attack part is done by half part of a team and defense part by other half. Yeah. So that's what attack defense type of CTF is. So you might be thinking if CTF is for you or not. So a CTF is for like anyone can just get into the CTF challenges, and if you can, as you can see over here, it just says if you can open the terminal, you can just capture the flag and CTF for everyone. Yeah, that's what it pretty much is. So it is like whatever knowledge, whichever you like learn, you'll just have to implement it and find the flags. So the things which are needed for CTF: creativity, curiosity, and persistence, because these three are kind of the fundamentals. Even if you don't have any kind of technical knowledge, if you have these three, you'll be able to learn everything. But if you just give up on a challenge and just leave away, then CTF is not for you. So the thing is, like, even if you fail, you'll just have to try it again and again until you find the thing which you're looking for. Yeah. So I've just mentioned what type of CTFs are, and yeah. So the kinds of challenges which you'll be facing in CTF are cryptography, exploitation, forensics, programming, reverse engineering, trivia, web application, and cryptography. You'll just they'll be giving you a kind of encryption. You'll just have to find what kind of encryption is used, and you'll just have to decrypt it. And this is kind of whatever I'm explaining now is kind of basic stuff. So um, if you're looking for advanced stuff, you can contact me after this webinar. I'll be helping you. The main thing which I want to do in this, like I just want to find some team members to solve CTF events. Yeah. So yeah, these are type of challenges which will be posted, and this is uh, event conducted by Amrita University called as InCTF. So I was participating in one of this, and this is how the events look like, and these are kind of challenges. As I mentioned before, web, binary exploitation, reverse engineering, crypto. So based on each criteria, there'll be challenges, and based on the challenges, you'll be given some, you'll be allotted some point. Yeah, this is how it will just look like. I just showed it because it will be helpful if you know what it is. So the kind of tools and things which you need are, yeah, it will be nice if you have Kali Linux because it has most of the stuff pre-built in it, and and it will be nice if you have knowledge of any kind of scripting languages because uh, most of the stuff it is very tedious to uh, do a manual work. So if you know scripting languages, you can just automate the work. So and utilities are some kind of tools which we'll be using later. And this one you can see over here cannot access scanners. This means that if scanners, automated scanners are not allowed in CTF events because it's not the purpose. Because if you do an automated scan, then the purpose of CTF is not done. So yeah, and these are some of the ways to get started in CTF events. So some of the courses from Pen Tester Academy are really good, like in reverse engineering, buffer overflows. They will explain in detail about it, and some of the there's a website called as One Hub where you can get virtual machines over there, and you can just work on the sorry you can just work on whatever you have learned before on these things. I'll be explaining in a later part of the webinar, and this is one of the books which I recommend because this is kind of the best. Like it covers right from A to Z, and you'll be like, yeah, whatever kind of level you are, you can just start using this book. So these are some of the ways to practice your skills. So meta exploitable, yeah, meta exploitable is kind of a virtual machine, and it has many like DVWA and other things. If you don't know about DVWA, DVWA is nothing like a web server, which is intentionally vulnerable so that you can practice whatever uh, skills you have learned over there. And vulnerable machines from World Hub and CDF competitions. Um, Whatever it is, if you just even get into a CTF event, I can guarantee that you would have learned a lot than just sitting at home because everything is like magic over here. And when once you get started, you won't know like yeah. I'll just leave this thing. I just forgot what I was trying to say. And this is one of the website which is good, Attack Defense, and it is from Pentest Academy, and it has a lot of challenges over there. And Bug Cloud is is for advanced users who are good at web pen testing because uh, you'll need a lot of knowledge to get into it, and sometimes you'll be paid, and sometimes you'll get credits on Bug Cloud. And yeah, so cryptography, yeah. So as you can see over here, there's the original text, and in order to encrypt it, you need a key, and after encrypting it, it is called as a ciphertext, and you need the same key to decrypt it, and you'll get the original text. This is what cryptography is in layman terms. So these are some kind of encryptions and use, and I've just shown this because in later part of the video we'll need this knowledge to find the kind of encryption and decrypt it. So in hex encryption, uh, the things are like it will be in this format. It will just start with 0 x and followed by some numbers and letters. And MD5 hashes is kind of like a lot of uh, text and numbers jumbled together. Most of the encryptions will be in this format, but you should be able to identify what kind of encryption is used. And yeah, so cipher which you can find it, it will be something like this, and you'll just have to provide the shift keys in order to decrypt it. So if you want to learn more about cryptography, I'll just leave the links after this webinar, and you'll be able to like refer it if you want to have an in-depth knowledge of how these algorithms work. So I'll just get into forensics, digital forensics, where you'll just have to like if there's an attack or if there's a malware in it, and if your system like if you most of the time you would have faced this issue like your system might just shut down, and before shutting down it will just dump some files, and it'll just shut down. So in order to find what the real cause of it was, you can just use the dump files which was dumped, and you can just uh, find the files which were affected your PC. So yeah, I'll just show the hands-on after this. It basically is like recovering all the data, whatever it is, and finding the data hidden inside some files, technography, everything comes under cyber forensics. And yeah, cyber forensics is the science of collecting, examining, analyzing, reporting uh, the stuff. So I'll just get into web application vulnerabilities. There's something called as OS, and OS was like kind of open project where uh, all the vulnerabilities of website are posted, and it will be like it'll be having a list, and mostly the list is only the top 10 part of the list is considered, and there's something called as CVEs, and CVEs are common vulnerability exposure, and when you just scan a website, you'll be able to find uh, vulner- vulnerabilities in it, and yeah, this is a OS list on in the year 2013 and 2017. So you can see over here there are uh, 10 items in the list, and if I explain all this stuff, it'll be taking a lot of time. So I'll be like helping you out after even after the session. You can just um, ping me up, and I'll just help you with this stuff. And basically, yes, these are kind of common vulnerabilities arranged based on the severity. A1 stands for the uh, highest level of danger, and A10 is kind of the lowest one. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So some of the phases of pen testing are reconnaissance, scanning, gaining access, maintaining access, and covering tags. Reconnaissance is where you will just gather all the info about the company which you're trying to pen test, and scanning is where you'll just find more technical stuff about the company. Like if you do a reconnaissance, you'll be like finding the kind of employees in company, etc. All like email IDs, you can do social engineering based on the email IDs whichever you gather. And there's something in scanning phase, you'll be doing most of the stuff. Mostly, you'll be doing something like Nmap scans or something. So there's two types of scanning: active and passive. Active In the active type of scanning, the company will be able to know that the website is being scanned, whereas in passive it will be like um, kind of it won't be like notice like the company whichever is trying to sorry, which you're trying to pen test, it won't be able to identify that it is being scanned. And on the gaining access, like if you find uh, kind of vulnerability while scanning over here, you can develop an exploit in this phase and gain access. I'll be covering in the later part of the video. So yeah, so whenever you go for interviews in this field, like they'll be having a kind of requirements, and these certifications are kind of the requirements for it. And CH is like the basic one, and OSCP is kind of the more advanced one. If you have OSCP, it is really great because you'll be doing a 24 hours exam, continuous exam. Yeah, that's about it. I'll just move on to the hands-on part of CTF events. Yeah, once again, I'll just speak it. Yeah. Uh, So I'll just show you kind of a basic level of CTF. So most of the guys, when you visit a website, you'll be seeing only the front end of it. You won't mostly they won't do it, but in when it comes to CTF, you'll mostly won't be working with the front end. You'll just have to see the uh, the coding part of it. Like you can just use the view page source to find the coding part of it. So the flag will be hidden somewhere here sometimes. This is a basic CTF, so I've just hidden it over here. I'm just scrolling it down because you can just see over here the HTML tag starts here, but it's not closed over here. So it means there are some lines below. So yeah, these are some of the commented lines. So it won't be shown in the uh, page. You won't be able to see any of these commands. So yeah, CTF, never give up. Like I would have told you about lead language in the beginning. So this is how it will be. Like never give up. The E's are replaced by three and A by four. It will be something like this. This is how basic CTF will look like. So yeah, I'll just get into the real part of CTF. So whenever you people open an image, um, the part of the like whatever kind of information which you'll be able to get is like you'll be able to see whatever is inside the image. Like you'll be able to get the size of the image and format of it, the pixel size and everything like this. But you won't be able to find some hidden files. Like there's something called as steganography. Most of you guys will know about it, but I'm just explaining it for the ones who doesn't know about it. So in steganography, people just kind of hide information inside the image, and you'll just have to provide kind of a password to extract the file which was hidden. So I'll just show you how it's done. Like yeah, there's a command called as binwalk, and using that, wait, I'll just execute it and I'll just show you. Yeah. what Winwalk does is it just like whatever file which you are able to see was this one. So these kind of files are like hidden within the image, and if you're willing to find whatever, if you want to extract it, there's another command to extract it. So the details whichever you see over here are kind of like the address of where the files are hidden inside the image, and you can just see over here this is our JPEG image data which was there in it, and there's a zip inside this image. So let us just try to extract the zip file. So there's a command called as dd, using which you'll be able to carve out the part of the um, file which was hidden inside this file. So yeah, there'll be an argument called as dash if, which stands for input file. You'll just have to provide the input file over here, and no, once again. And these are kind of arguments which you'll have to provide, and that's what I'm just giving over here. Yeah, and BA stands for byte skip, or byte size. So this is kind of the size in which the thing will be extracted. Like you can just give one over here and it will be kind of slow. And if you're working with bigger files, you'll just have to go with bigger numbers like 4 or 4 KB or 4 MB. It's kind of a segmentation type. And just have to give skip equals whatever decimal value which you want to extract. So our decimal value is 197.2141. Oh my god, once again. Example. Yeah. So what we have done is like we have just extracted this part of the file inside the image, and and we just give the address of this file here to extract, like from this part it will just be extracting till the end of zip. And yeah, after extracting it, uh, you'll be able to see there's a zip file over here. After unzipping it, one.zip, the basic idea is you'll just have to find the flag. So in order to find the flag, I'm just using the knowledge whichever I have to do it. So after extracting it, there was a text file inside it called secret.txt, which you can just see what's inside over here. And, yeah, this is a flag for us. So basic thing is you'll just have to find the flag whichever is hidden. This is how the CTF events will look like, and this is how easy it is to find the flags inside. So now I'll just be going to the more advanced part of the CTF. So if you guys have any kind of questions or anything, you can just ask me now or at the end of this webinar. And if you're not able to understand whatever I'm doing right now, you can just sorry. You can just unmute yourself and you can just ask the questions over here. Otherwise, you can just post the questions in the chat section. Yeah. Does anyone have questions like till whatever I've done?
Is this commands specifically for Kali Linux, or we can use it on
Um,
any server?
yeah, it is not specifically for Kali Linux, it is for all distributions of Linux. You can just uh, Kali Linux comes pre-built with all this tools in it. So if you are using any other part of Linux distribution, and if you don't have the uh, tool pre-built in it, and you can just do a apt get install of whatever command which you're trying to execute.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you have to install that package, beanwalk.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
yeah. Anything else? uh, okay, I'll be moving on to the next part of the CTF. So yeah, I hope you guys are able to understand whatever it is. If you're not able to understand, just let me know and I'll just explain it again. Yeah. So this was one of the challenges which I had when I was solving a CTF, when I was in a CTF event. So the name of this challenge is called as Evil Crypto, and I'll just show you what the thing which stages gave us. So one second, just yeah, no, I just say downloads. Mm, Sorry guys, I just kind of forgot where I see it. So anyway, I'll just get started. The thing is, they just gave us a zip file. This was an input file which was given. You can just ignore whatever files over here. I'll just explain whatever it is in the later part. I'll be solving it now. So this is the only file which is given to us, and we'll have to do a forensics part of it. So there's a tool called as volatility. So this is a tool which is used to uh, like if you have a image and if you wish to find which type of image it is, like if you have a dump of, like, whenever a malware is affecting your PC or anything, and if your PC suddenly shuts down, it takes a dump of whatever was running, and so this dump will be of the format .raw. So after unzipping it, it will be RAW, but we don't know which operating system it belongs to. So yeah, uh, yeah. So so first we'll just try to find whatever kind of operating system this image was taken in. So here we'll be using command dash f to, this is kind of an argument to specify the file whichever we want to scan. So yeah, and image info is a command to find the type of operating system this image was taken in. So yeah, it will be determining the profile of this image. Let it load. Yeah. So using this tool, as I said, you can just find the operating system of it. So it just scanned it and it was able to find which type of operating system it was, and it is Windows 7. So we can just mention the profile as a Windows 7. Profile is kind of a argument to mention the uh, operating system. So even here we are just trying to find the kind of flag. So the you might have a question like, why am I using all these tools and how do I know? It is based on experience. So if you start solving CTF, you'll be able to like you'll know what to do based on the files whichever is provided to you. So if like if you don't know where to start, and you can just read some write-ups of CTF, and it will help you to understand what's going on in detail. So yeah, Windows 7, so back 1, and x86 is 32-bit architecture, and I'll be doing a file scan. So what it basically does is we just took a dump of it, and we are just scanning the whole image to find some files in it. So it might even have a lot of logs. So if you want to go through logs in it, you can just uh, type in some commands. I don't remember it, but there's a command called as ps, which lists all the kind of process which was running in background before the Windows shut down. Um, so yeah, um, yeah. Once again, file equals yeah, process list. Yeah, it just shows all the kind of process which was running in the background before the Windows shut down. So all these are all kind of Windows background services. So there isn't any kind of suspicious files over here. So there's one more command called as ps3, and in this command actually shows all even like the process inside a process. Like if you have a rootkit, then inside it will be showing it. Like hidden files, hidden processes also will be shown in it. Yeah, let it run. Yeah, we can just see that there's notepad which was running. So I just assume that um, they have kind of saved a text file or something before uh, the Windows was shut down. So I'll just do a file scan now, and yeah, I'll just do a grep to filter out the result, whichever has desktop in it. So the first file whichever is found was suspicious, which we'll have to look into after the scan gets done. So there's one more file called as evil pie. Even this we'll have to go through, and there's vip.txt. So all other things are not suspicious. All these things are default things. Like dump it was done before the Windows shut down. So yeah, we'll just have to scan through it. And since I know that all these files are normal, I'm just going to take only these three files: the species1.jpg and evil script, and one more thing called as vip.txt. So we'll have to extract this data from this image file. So I'll be using an argument called as dump files, which takes in only the kind of um, like yeah, it just extracts the files based on the memory location. These are whatever you see over here, like these are all the memory locations. These are kind of called as offsets. So what you'll have to do is whatever offset it has, you'll just have to copy it, like kind of the path of the file. So we can just use it. And yeah, there's one more argument called as dump dir, which stands for dump directory, where you want to save it. So I'll just give it on the same folder. So it will just save this file as none. You can just see once again. Uh, yeah. here. You can just see the file which were extracted over here. So I've actually extracted all the three files before. So I've just named the suspicious.jpg as one.jpg and vip.txt as vip.txt over here. And this is the Python script. So we'll just go with the JPEG file which was provided first. Uh, so you can just see over here there isn't much of the data which was given. So as I said before, there might be files hidden inside it based on steganography. So there's a tool called as steg hide. Sorry. So if you don't know the commands in it, you can just type the help argument and it will just show you the um, kind of input whichever is needed for it. So we'll be needing this thing since we are extracting the info and uh, yeah, SF stands for stego file, whichever we want to do. So SF, yeah, it asks me for some kind of password, but since we don't know the password whichever is needed, I'll just cancel out and I'll just try to find the password in other two files. There was a file called as vip.txt. So I'll just try to open it now. So you can just see over here, there's some kind of encrypted um, uh, text in this. So there was one more file which was provided, which is called as evil script.py. And in this script, you'll just be you can just see over here. If you know Python, it's okay. If you don't know, I'll just explain whatever the program does. Actually, this is kind of the main function. And what it does is just actually opens a file called as pip.txt and please note that this is kind of encoding part. The decoding part is kind of done in the reverse way. So what it does is it just opens a file vip.txt and the user gives the argument like the input when running the script. So after the user gives the input, it just passes on to XOR function, which XORs the input whichever was given. This is XOR is kind of encoding, and after encoding it in a XOR, it just again encodes in base 64 format. So that's what was given here. So you'll just have to reverse the script. If you don't know what it is, don't worry about it. You can learn it. So the main goal of CTF is to learn. So even if you don't understand anything, don't worry about it. You can just learn it, and you can just contact me after this thing if you need any help. So I have actually reversed this script here called as evil.py before. So whatever I did was I just edited this script which was used to encrypt it. So there was a file vip.txt and I'm just opening it in read format and I'm reading it and saving it in a variable font. And again, I'm just creating sorry object for another file called as op.txt. Then I'm just passing in the arguments of what was done in vip.txt, and I'm just doing I'm just like decoding it, and after that XORing it. Then after that, I'm writing in the file. So that's what we're doing. Whatever we are doing is we are just decrypting it. That's it, nothing else. So we don't. Let's see, this was a file. So you can see over here, this is kind of the flag which was hidden inside. So this is actually the password for the uh, image file. So cat dot. So I'll just copy this password, paste, and yeah. So so I'll just paste it over here, and once again, do is paste that. So, yeah, there's a file called as secret.txt which was extracted, and once again, then secret. Yeah, this is the other half of the flag. So combining these two, we'll just get the flag. So the main goal was to find the flag, and we have just found it. So I'll just show you how kind of. Do you have? If you guys have any kind of doubts, you can just ask me now. So do you guys have any doubts or anything? Okay, I'll just move on to the other part. So this is kind of an interesting part. Like till now, whatever we did was some kind of thing which is more concept oriented. So now I'll just show you kind of like we just have yeah, this is kind of a web server metasploitable. Since I told you in presentation, I'll just telling you what it is. So we just have a web server running in this, and we'll just try to find the IP address of it. So after finding the IP address of it, you can just it is 192.168.1.25. So I'll just enter the URL over here. So you can just see over here, it's a kind of a website. I just showed it so that you can just understand whatever it is. So I'm just going to scan. Like I would have told you about the scanning phase, whichever this. So this is how a scanning works. So there's a tool called as Nmap, using which you can just scan a server and find the ports, open ports, and everything else. So dash SO is kind of an option for uh, it's a scan option, and you'll just specify the target, and I'll just and script banner is kind of like it just shows whatever the services are running in specific port, and double B stands for verbose output. It will just show the output in a very kind of detailed manner. So I'll just be running something called as I've done most of the stuff. I'll just explain it this way. So it will just take a lot of time to scan. I'll just show it whatever we are gonna do. So yeah, it will just find some kind of vulnerabilities in a port, and so when scanning it, there was a FTP port with BSFTPD version 2.3.4. So based on this version 2.3.4, there was actually a exploit in a tool called as a framework called as Metasploit. By the way, if you guys don't know what Metasploit is, Metasploit is kind of a framework which has a lot of exploits for all the stuff, and you can just load in the exploit and set in the options whichever is required. and we are just searching for the thing which was given as output from nmap, and after that we were able to find an exploit. Then after that we are just loading the exploit over here, and after loading it, I'm just giving an option called as show options so that we can see what are the options which are required. And it just needs R first, which is nothing but the target, and we are just setting the target and exploiting it. So after exploiting it, um, it will just open up a shell. So shell is nothing but when you'll be able to execute most of the commands. So yeah, so I'm in a shell right now, so I'll be able to find whatever, like I don't know, right? So I whatever we are just trying to get the shell over here. That's what we try to do with here. This takes a lot of time, so I'm not doing it. So yeah, that's it about this, guys. I know most of you guys would have thought this is kind of extreme thing, like there's a lot of stuff to learn and this, but it's not that hard. If you are really interested, you can just learn it. And by the way, there isn't any kind of um, com- complex science or mathematics involved. You'll just it's all basic concepts, and you'll be able to learn all these basic concepts once you start. Yeah. So I'm just ending it right now. So if you're interested to learn more, or uh, if you just have any questions right now, you can just ask me now. So you can just unmute yourself if you have any questions now, and you can just ask me now. So do you guys have any questions over it now? Anyone? Were you able to understand what I was trying to tell?
Check your private chat.
Private chat. Okay. So
Thank you so much, sir.
yeah. So you can just post even in the private chat if you have any questions. And if you're interested in learning more about it, you can just contact me. I'll be helping you out. I'll
Sure,
even
sir.
yeah. So Danison Juice, do you have any questions or anything?
Um, have recorded your video, sir. I maybe have to see one or two times, then I have to have questions.
It is already
See,
recorded. I will share with you.
okay.
Okay, bro. Thank you.
Okay.
I will surely contact you, sir.
Okay. You can just call me. I'm just a senior. You
Okay.
don't need to call me.
Okay, bro.
So anyway, anyone else? Do you guys have any other questions or anything?
We are going to end this session. Anyone had doubts?
So it'll be nice if you could just kind of give a feedback before you leave in the chat session. And thanks a lot for attending this webinar. And yeah. So I'll just close this webinar now.
Okay, sir.
So
Harish, can I end this? Harish?
yeah.
Can
Yeah,
I
I'll
end
just end it.